Hey guys, Pavlik here. Today, we continue The Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. Currently, we're managing our way through the Eastern Palace, and we'll be heading towards the Tower of Hera atop Death Mountain. At least, that's the plan. Something so dangerous sounding, of course, has to have the Pendant of Power. FYI, the entire dungeon atop Death Mountain, the Tower of Hera, I do plan to do an entire episode on. So, no nonsense, straight to the point, no build up, just all in one episode. Anyway, as we make our way out of the Eastern Palace, or close to it, I'm just trying to get as many rupees as possible, get as much dough. I gotta get the fat stacks, of course, because this game heavily relies on money. So much so. We'll be able to do it later on, but we can buy instead of just rent from Ravio, and it's like 1,000 or more rupees per item. But with Sahasrahla meeting us at the stairs, obviously, he didn't know Osfala was a douche and an ego more inflated the United States dollar. Anyway, as the old man speaks about Yuga, I am going to start a tale as old as time. Maybe 24 hours old for me, but nonetheless, a tale as old as time. I was at Walmart. Alright, and I'm a funny guy, I think, and just this horrifically hilarious incident, alright, it kind of made me a national terrorist. Not really, but you'll see. So there I was, walking into the store, near the pharmacy side, and I see a display for fireworks. You know, with it being close to New Year's, Walmart finally has the correct items displayed for the correct holiday, instead of having Christmas all through Halloween and Thanksgiving. But I look at the swords, the ones with just the sparklers coming out the end, and the poppers, but then I see this behemoth, this thing of a popper they have, and it was shaped like, of course, the ball that drops every year in New York, but it was just substantially bigger, equaling the size of a softball in mass. I start looking at one, even picking it up. Well, as I'm doing so, I see a buddy of mine that works there, and he's working, and he sees me finagling with one, and he says the line, "I dare you. You won't do it. I dare you." And, I'm not normally one that would scare the living shit out of a family of 4, let alone an entire store of people. But needless to say, I did what needed to be done. And then instantly yelled shit after hearing Hiroshima and Nagasaki go off in a Walmart entrance, like I didn't just do it on purpose. And it was ultimately one of the funniest things I've ever done, but also one of the dumbest. I have played what feels like thousands of games, and through all of those, I found that I lean towards adventure, shooters, puzzles, and action games mainly. I couldn't tell you, for starters, what any Sly Cooper game I've played and disliked, even though there's only 4 at the moment, when we could easily have 5 if Sony would hurry the hell up. I adore the most outcasted game the most, Sly 4, because the way they implemented time travel is goofy, and it just complements the characters and the aspects of the game to such a fine degree. Now, my favorite character being Bob, the ancestor, the first ancestor of the Cooper clan, has to be my favorite character. I just get so much enjoyment from playing him, but mainly his mini games, the workout mini games. I know a bunch of people complained about his mini games due to clunky motion controls, but I never had that issue. I never found any difficulty in the mini games, so I could just be extremely biased. I put days, weeks into the franchise alone, much like many other games and titles. For starters, like God of War. I've not finished the original trilogy, sadly. But with how much I've played the newest two, I know I need to find the time to actually start those three. God of War 2018 left me such a great impression that I bought the collector's edition in preparation for God of War Ragnarok. And let me tell you, did it impress. Getting to wield Mjolnir, the prop, is absolutely mind-blowing to me with how detailed and crafted it is. Not to mention the other goodies inside the absolute unit of a box. You get 2 little wooden dolls. The steelbook looks phenomenal, and I felt like so much passion and excitement before ever starting the game. So I bought the controller because I only felt like playing it with the controller was the only thing I should do. The graphics, the story, the boss fights, the characters, they have me wanting me another game like right now. Every time I think about it, I am so excited for whatever Panthology, the next Panthology Kratos is going to put an end to. It is the only kind of genocide I'm excited for. It's also the first game I platinumed. It still my first run still only has a clock of 48 hours on it, and I platinumed it in those 48 hours. The last Sony title I want to mention is Astrobot, the winner of this year's Game of the Year awards. I've not finished Astrobot, but I did play and platinum the Astro's Playroom, the game that comes downloaded on every PS5. And let me tell you, there's no regret there. It's such a great game. I can understand people's disagreements with it winning Game of the Year, but I'm so glad it did. That game brought so much of a Nintendo feel and success in having an equally fun sequel. I'm not certain if Astrobot's a sequel, but either way, all the little cameos and the themed missions, specifically the God of War, is so creative and enjoyable. You get the axe, and you just transform into like a Kratos-like figure, and you just get to throw the axe, you get to use it, you get a whole themed mission around using the ice axe, and I'm so glad that they did it in such a successfully fun fashion. Besides Call of Duty or Marvel Rivals as of late, I tend to veer towards Nintendo when I'm sick of multiplayer games. I cannot fully describe my passion, time, effort, or joy I've put into every single Nintendo game I've ever played, but I can definitely try. My first ever video game, from the day I was born to until I played it, was Pokemon Coliseum on the Nintendo GameCube. I didn't have a memory card. I was kind of confused and didn't know what they were or that I needed one. And so my brother and I always had to leave it on if we wanted to play it. And damn, did I learn that the GameCube was reliable. The one time as a kid when we had to leave it on for, it was like a week straight, because we were at the Realgam Coliseum fight with Elcade. Finally, after so many failed attempts from either someone turning the console off, accidentally getting unplugged, or getting in trouble, as one of us often did. Beating that game was such a huge milestone for me as a child, and it'll forever be memorable. The Pokemon games as a whole really have always had such a huge impact for me. The next game after Coliseum wasn't too far off from it was Pokemon Platinum on the DS. And I played that thing so many times. I eventually ended up getting it stolen from me in school. The one thing that made Platinum really so memorable, it wasn't even the awesome and thrilling story or designs or the gameplay. It was finding a blue flamed shiny Ponyta for the first time ever. I didn't know what shinies were, and I showed my brother my screen, and I was like, hey, what's this? Is the screen broken? What's going on? Why is the Ponyta like bluish gray? And until we looked it up and learned that it was a 1 in 4,096 chance to encounter, boy, were we happy. Finally, the last Pokemon game I'll mention is Pokemon Sun and Moon. My two little brothers each had gotten one of them, and they were little. They were asking me left and right how to type match this or that, or where to find something. And it was always a simple answer, simple fix. But one day they both learned and asked me how to get Zygarde, the legendary Pokemon. Well, in case you don't know, it requires you to track down 95 cells and 5 cell cores separated across the entire playable area. So that's 100 different single locations. Luckily, they're the same in every single game. So I did this on both of their DSs. It took me about a week in total. Now, it wasn't the most enjoyable process, laying in bed with 2 DSs and then my MacBook studying at the same time. But it was fun to help them, because around the same time, GameStop was doing a promotion and giving a Pokemon away. It was Shiny Lunala and Shiny Solgaleo. So I went and then I got them both one of each. So they had Zygarde, 100% form, when after he gets down to 25% health in battle. Then you get Shiny Solgaleo and Lunala. They were ecstatic. Though I couldn't tell you why this memory in particular resonates so well when I think of Pokemon, but it does. It always has. I guess it always will. Lastly, for the game we're playing right now, The Legend of Zelda. They've always resonated well with me. They always have enjoyment for me. I've always loved going through the dungeons. It didn't feel like brain rot when I played these games, like I do some of the new ones, like Black Ops 6 multiplayer. My first Zelda game that I'll want to mention is Skyward Sword on the Wii. It was crazy. The motion controls were essential, at least for me, in my opinion, because swinging the Wii remote around made me think I was swinging an actual sword, had an actual shield in my hand when I was like 9 or 10. It was just impressive. I enjoyed the upgrade for the equipment, the shield, the potions, except there was one issue. There was one potion, which some of you might be familiar with. It was overpowered. It was called the Guardian Potion Plus. How it was overpowered, some of you might ask. Well, it prevents you from taking any damage at all for minutes. Literal minutes. So, I didn't know about it my first couple runs on the Wii, but when it came back out on a remaster on the Switch, I decided to look more into the potions for the Demise boss fight. I was like, oh, okay, I'll come prepared. I saw this, and I used it. I took no damage in that entire boss fight. It was the easiest thing. A Minecraft zombie was more difficult considering this boss fight with the Guardian Potion. I don't understand why they put this in the game. It's easy to craft. You get the materials so easy. And it just you could use this for every single boss fight, and you will win. Even if you are completely terrible at the game and keep getting hit like I do right now. I just got hit by a green little slime thing and a crow. I am not killing it right now. I am not locked in. So, I don't know if anyone else watches Dragon Ball that's watching this right now. But, there will be no spoilers. But I've been watching and catching up on Dragon Ball Daima. And I am so excited. If you've not watched it or given it a chance, just give it a chance. It is Akira Toriyama's last work. He was proud of it, and I'm really starting to understand why. Everything that I think I've ever heard someone from the Dragon Ball community ever say or want, I've been really seeing it. There's new lore. The characters, they're not completely refreshed, but it's different from what Super was, and I'm so happy with it. The fights look phenomenal. The last fight we saw in episode 12 looked better than the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. It was phenomenal. The transformations just look on a whole other different level. I cannot describe it without spoilers, so I'll just leave it there. It is tremendous. I recommend it to everyone. Alright, so right now, I'll actually start talking about the game. We speak to Rosso back here in his hut. There's so many rocks and boulders around, he's having trouble cleaning them up. He gives us a pair of gloves so that we could start picking up rocks and whatnot, and this really helps us move along in the game. We can now head up Death Mountain, and it opens up so many things that we didn't have access to before. So, I couldn't remember whether or not there was a reward for picking up all the rocks outside his house, because as he mentioned, I won't tell you to go pick up all the rocks outside my house, but if you do, so I just started throwing them around, and then I just kind of want to kill a bird with a rock. And then I do. Because this game just has open freedom. You can kill any amount of bird with any amount of rocks. And I kind of thought I was wasting time, so I just walked away from it. I missed with the other one. And then I made the bird hit the wall. There's so much to do in this game. There's so many side quests. There's so many little stories and tidbits that unless you go looking for it, you don't have to do. These centipedes keep hitting me, and I know I'm doing terrible. I finally fixed it in post-edit, just a little bit. The controls, I did have them spread out to like L and R were QW, AB was AS, and X and Y were Z and X. And it was just a terrible mashup. I have it configured better now. But I'm just doing absolutely terrible. I keep getting hit. I'm going to end up dying soon, I think. If I keep playing this poorly. Though, dying is not the worst thing, at least the first time. Because it will update the store for Ravio. You know what? I was just asking for this, but it's not the worst thing to happen. Ravio's going to take his bow back. That's no issue. So we get to wake up, and now all of his items are here. Besides the sand rod, it is sealed with Asfala in the painting. We'll have to get that back later. There's a couple of key items I do want to pick back up while I'm here. I want to get the hammer, the bomb, the bow back, maybe the hurricane rod. I meant to say the tornado rod, but I don't think it matters. Ravio's shop is really odd, because I don't remember what triggers it to allow you to buy the items. The items, it's like 1,000 rupees a piece, and thank God this game has so many little things that you can just abuse for rupees. Not saying you should, but it's so easy. We have a special listener from my cat. Thank you for those wise words, Oogie Dee Boogie. I want to mainly get the bomb because there's the Maya-Mize. In the cave, for every 10, I think I mentioned them last episode, you get, you can upgrade one of the items. Though, of course, you have to wait till you actually are able to buy the items. So, after a quick research trip, I learned that I just have to get the 3 pendants. So, after the Tower of Hera, and then wherever the one in the lake is, then I can start buying the items. And I'll just play some mini games. If you guys want to watch me do that, let me know. If not, then I'll just grind out the rupees off camera. Because depending on my skill level or lack thereof, it could be non-entertaining. But here is the cave for the Maya-Mize, the big ol' octopi-like things, and I jumped into the freaking water. I'm the best at this game, I swear. If I'm able to beat it with how bad I am, I'll be extremely surprised. But that is the goal after all. Yeah, as she's saying, she lost all of her kids, all 100 of them, which I don't know how she did it, but she thanks us, and she gives us a map, which, if you look at it, there's not 100 in the overworld, which kind of ruins the main point in the game. There's 50 for the overworld and 50 for the underworld. I'm trying not to say the name of the underworld in case you've not played the game. It's really cool how they do it. So all the dungeons you have in the overworld is kind of the same when you flip to the underworld. Though I guess the underworld's not the best way to describe it. But we have a shield. We have access to the Maya-Mize. We have all the equipment we really need. I'm going to start heading up, looking for my way to one of the dungeons. So, I want to spend a couple of minutes, looking for some Maya-Mize. Not, focusing, but, if I hear them, try and take a second and look for them. I hear one on the bridge. I'm not entirely sure where it is. I do believe it's under the bridge in the water, which I've not gone to the Zora's Domain yet to start that quest to be able to swim. And I literally can't remember what keybind my little sprint dash thing is for. I will just look for that later. I tried to mash buttons to try and remember, but I didn't want to screw up the recording. So, I keep trying. I keep failing. I give up. I'm done. I can't. But, I do want to try and, head towards the witch's hut, before I head up the mountain, because I did get that bottle in the village where we first met Sahasrahla, and showed the minigame off. I just run away from the guys because I don't want to deal with them. I'm already getting hit enough as is. I'm too bad. And here's the witch's hut. I'm just going to get a basic red potion. It heals 8 hearts, which is twice my health at the moment. So I have no complaints spending 50 rupees for that. Plus, we end up getting another Maya right there on the wall. After the witch lets us out of the animation, of course. It's going to be a long while before I can even use the Maya. So I went to the Zora's domain and I just started it. I looked at the bloated queen, and then I walked out. I just wanted to have it started because I was originally just looking around trying to find some Maya. I got distracted for like 30 minutes walking around, but I just didn't see any need having like an hour 20 almost vid, so I cut it out. I hope you guys are not angry, but here we are, Death Mountain. This time I'm not dying. I completely forgot that you can smash them with the hammer, but this mountain is nothing but rupees. Like, if you can get lucky and get red rupees out of the meteors, then you can just grind these all day. Just go in a room, have everything reappear, go in a room, come back, and just rinse and repeat. That would give you so many rupees if you didn't want to exploit the mini games. But I'm killing some guys, just trying to get some rupees before I head inside. I'm gonna save the game real quick because it's always good to get all of these, because as the witch earlier, she'll take us anywhere, she'll take us everywhere. As long as we have this one discovered, we can come back here whenever we want. I can ring the bell, she'll take us right there. I saw all the rupees in this area, so I wanted to come down here right before I head inside, because it doesn't take very long. The entrance to the tower is like 3 minutes away, right? Like even in the game, it's not long, it's not tedious, it's just dodging rocks. And I heard another Maya, so I also wanted to look for that too. So we're getting closer to the end of this episode, and I'm gonna go head inside. All I really have to do is dodge the rocks. I shouldn't get hit that often. I'm also really bad at using the hammer, I've come to find out. Don't know why, but I'm just the absolute worst at hitting those freaking boulders or meteors, whatever. They are appearing to be both. That is also the longest line I've ever seen, because there's just one right there, the other was like 5 or 6. I keep stopping for every small stack or deposit of rupees because I'm a money goblin. I love that dough. I love the cheddar, though it's slightly ironic. And the chest wouldn't open to save my life, but there we go. And then there's another Maya. We should have 5 now. No, 6. Heck yeah, we only need 4 more. And then we could still not use them yet. With it just being the dungeon, I want to try to have that out like, as soon as I can. I don't know if I could get it out Monday, but Tuesday I should be able. I have like half this week off because of New Year's. I try and go for the meteor. I keep missing. I know I'm gonna miss it. I can't use those hammers for anything for the life of me. If it was use the hammer correctly or die, I would be dead. But here we are. The last room we have to enter before the entrance of the Tower of Hera. I don't know if they're trying to make it difficult or whatnot with all the boulders. I'm just walking around them. It's easy. They're not hitting me. Not a chance. I'm too good. But here we are. Getting to the top. Got some hearts back. There's a little cave over here, which I cannot do anything with right now. I, of course, missed the heart. I am gonna go back in. It will not be there. But I got 20 rupees. That's all that matters. But if you guys liked, leave a like on the video. Subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. I'm gonna save and I'm gonna skedaddle. Have a good day. And a Happy New Year's.